2020. Got it. Thank you.
Timothy supposed to have got it.
This is the July 20, 2022 Buchanan Police.
With the mouth. No,
It's not that.
What should I do? Say got it?
Yes,
Yeah.
they got it.
We're 20.
I said I got it because it came on my screen to do it.
Okay.
All right, we're off. First item, minutes from the previous meeting from June 15th. Any additions or corrections?
I'm here.
None here. Okay, motion to approve.
So moved.
Jim, second.
Approve.
Kayla. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, department monthly reports, chief.
Sure. The first report is our budget, and when this was run, we had spent 99.20% of our budget, leaving 0.80 left. But I believe a portion of that will be used, so we will be very close to 100%. But everything isn't posted yet, so at least we're not over. So that's good news.
Very good.
Next budget is animal control, which is 95.90% spent, should be 100. And once again, everything might not be posted to that account. So in the coming weeks, we'll know more about the status of that budget, but looks to be within budget.
Good.
Next report I have is our monthly statistics. I'll just highlight some. Burglaries, 10 versus 1, collectively this date, 10 this year versus 1 last year. Family disputes, 36 versus 30. Larcenies from vehicles, 16 versus 20, so that's declining. That's a good trend. Location checks, 834 versus 311, and the bulk of those are in our parks. Our officers doing a great job checking the parks and making our people that visit them feel more comfortable and secure. So that will continue. Motor vehicle accident property damage, 192 versus 168. So that's a little bit of an increase that was expected with increased traffic now that things are normalized versus COVID traffic. Motor vehicle accident injury, 17 versus 10. Psychiatric problems, 39 versus 23. That continues a trend up, and our officers handle those calls really well. School checks, 61 versus 52. And that's a little bit of an increase, but you'll see that hopefully increase dramatically next school year, given that the funds have been approved, and we'll be able to hire and or assign an officer every school day to specifically check the schools and patrol the schools. And operation will figure out exactly how that's going to work. So that's a good initiative that's been approved thus far.
Was that approved out of the federal government money for the first year, or?
No, I think it's going to be through a special appropriation, and the CFO needs to find the money. It got voted on by the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, and it didn't go to town council because I've been told by Tucker Murphy that it doesn't need to because it's been approved and a special appropriation will cover that money. So
Okay.
at least it got funded and we'll be able to move that initiative forward.
Okay.
So that's a good thing. Stolen vehicle, 11 versus 23, so that's trending down. That's certainly a good sign. Hopefully that continues and normalizes. And that's all I have for statistics.
On the burglaries, 10 versus 1, a year ago, were people kind of more locked down or around then, perhaps? Or is this something that's really just spiked for another reason?
Yeah, there's a group going around
Okay.
that our detectives are investigating, and they've hit Fairfield County pretty hard. A bulk of them are related to that group, so we're hopeful we'll be able to figure out who they are and make some arrests in the coming months. But that's fallen off a little bit in the last month and a half or so. We haven't seen that trend up, so maybe they're inactive at this point, but we continue to be vigilant, and that investigation is open.
Okay.
And that's the group that was had an MO where they would break sliding glass doors.
Correct.
Go through the glass.
Typically Friday, late afternoon, early evening, pretty well organized. Typically went for high-end handbags and or jewelry, and we're in and out within minutes. And in some of the houses, they were alarmed and they still went in. But so that's a tip to make sure that your sliding glass doors are alarmed too. So if they do break in there, that will get alerted and hopefully be there quickly.
Got it. Okay.
Next report I have is staffing report. So for the month of June, approximately 66% of the time we worked with a minimum shift. And that's interconnected to officers that are on SRO duties, for a couple of officers on injury leave, one officer at the academy, and one officer in comparative training and is in field training right now. So that all kind of affects our staffing levels. And our lost time was 30.53, which in comparison to the past couple of years is higher than 2 years ago, but lower than last year. So it fluctuates with our staffing levels and lost time. So nothing really concerning right now. When we swear in our officer tomorrow, we'll be at full strength, but we have 3 officers in various levels of training. So they're not able to go on their own yet. So we can't really count them yet. But the good news is our complement is full and 3 are in a training pipeline.
Who's being sworn in?
Roger. Next report I have is our false alarm aging. And as we've discussed in previous months, a bulk of that 18,450 is over 120. And I did follow up with the CFO. I'm waiting to hear back about what the plans are. I guess a third-party collection agency is managing that. I'm waiting to hear back what the plan is for that, whether they're going to write it off or continue to try to collect it. Next report I have is extra duty aging, and fair amount is 31 to 60 days, 83,917.31. But there's some big accounts there that I think maybe are a little slow pay. But the good news is overall, meaning more than 60 days is a relatively low number. So that's good news in that regard. That's all I have for reports.
Okay, great. Thank you. Next up is road closure for the block party. And who's going to speak on this?
Hi, I'm Siobhan Sack and I'm representing our neighborhood.
Hi, welcome back.
Thank you. It was a terrific blast last year.
Okay.
Yeah, it really was. We had 121 altogether and 56 adults and 65 adults and 56 kids.
Wow.
Unbelievable. The kids were like swarming the neighborhood, running from lawn to lawn. They were so excited. So good.
Great. And again, the dates.
The date is Sunday, September 18th. And approximately, 4:30 to 7:30. The kids kind of linger after that, but that's the way that goes and the parents are in charge. We don't have a rain date because whatever the weather is, of course, if there's something, weather emergency, or if there's something else, let's hope not, that causes us to cancel, we'll have to cancel. But the problem would be scheduling the food truck and Old Faithful. So
Sure.
we can't pick 2 dates to have both of those entities there. So we just have to play it by ear. But so far, we've always been in luck. So hopefully that holds.
Okay. Then any questions on this, commissioners?
Not here.
Not here.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve block closure for the block party
On
request
date. Set the date.
on September the 18th, 4:30 to 7:30 p.m.
Got it. Second?
I said,
Okay.
yeah.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's approved. Unanimous.
Right.
Very good.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Have fun.
Have a wonderful time.
Thank you so much. Is it okay if I?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Stay for the whole thing. Everybody stay.
Good night.
Okay, next up is the crosswalk signal proposal from Officer Vartuli. Is Deputy Chief Federico there?
Yeah, I spoke with her, there's a lot more we have to flesh out on it before we move forward. So her and I and Tiger, we're gonna meet next week and talk about some things. So we'll table it to a future meeting. It may not be in September, but when it's appropriate, we'll bring it forward. We'll premature at this point.
That'd be great. No, it'd be great to, I like the initiative and the thoughtfulness of the proposal. So we'll hear from you in the next meeting or two. All right.
Yep.
Good. D, Elm Place and Woodland Road yield sign. Deputy Chief.
Yeah, so that came in last meeting from a resident on Woodland or the.
Yep.
In that area. Since then, I've done a traffic study for the area, put traffic counters on Elm Place. It doesn't seem to be a speed issue, at least not on Elm Place. Speeds are well within the speed limit. The 85th percentile, I think, was 22 to 23 miles an hour, which is exceptional, which is good to see. But it does have a good volume of traffic. It is a cut through road. It gets about 350 cars to 500 cars a day going through there. And I did spend some time out in the neighborhood too, just kind of observing, and it has changed as we see in some neighborhoods. It kind of goes through these phases where, the young couples move in with younger kids. So there does seem to be a high population of younger kids that are walking, riding their bikes, walking to school, out in the neighborhood. And the intersection, it's a yield sign, but you have to cross if you're continuing towards South Avenue, continuing sort of in a westerly direction, you have to cross the lane of traffic coming towards you and then merge into the traffic going west. So it's not really a good location for a yield. It probably would be better suited with a stop sign to stop, ensure that there's no oncoming traffic, ensure that there's no traffic coming up Woodland, and then proceed into the intersection. A yield sign would be more appropriate if you're just merging into the lane of traffic that you're traveling into, not crossing over another line of traffic. So if it was kind of going in the opposite direction, you were just merging, you could merge into the line of traffic, but that's not the case here. I think that's where we're seeing some of the problems. And then you add to the element that there's lots more pedestrians, kids in the neighborhood on bikes. So, I would be in support of changing it from a yield sign to a stop sign.
How about the line of sight issue? There was a problem with
So
the
there
foliage.
was some vegetation that's further down on Woodland on that island there, and I'm working with Public Works to try to thin that out a little bit. It would definitely, with a stop sign, I think that would be less of an importance because it actually come to a full stop, but I still would like to thin it out. But I just see where that would be an issue if you're just looking to yield and not come to a full stop. You couldn't get a good line of sight further down with it. But I'll continue to work with Public Works. I don't know, is Tiger on?
Yes.
So you might want to weigh in. I don't know if he has a different opinion on this, but
Okay, Tiger, thoughts?
Thanks, Paul. No, I share the deputy chief's decision, his view. I spent some time out there as well and took a look, and I think it's a good decision to change it from a yield to a stop. We did try to reduce that vegetation of the fire bush, so we cut it back a lot, but I think we're just going to go back out and take it out from around that entire tree and just remove it in its entirety. We tried to cut it back a little bit, but it's just going to be a maintenance issue for us going forward. So I think I'm just going to have my crews come and take it all out. But I agree with the chief that,
Hey, Tiger, it's definitely our bush, right?
Yeah, it's ours.
somebody
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we own that island. So
Okay, I don't want to get into something
the
else.
triangle. Yeah, no,
right,
no
good.
problem there. But no, I agree with the deputy chief. I think changing it over to stop signs is a good call.
Okay, good. I've been through it. Shakeva, you've been through it. James, you've been around there as well. Yeah, the neighborhoods has changed. There's a lot of kids in there, and I would agree with this as well. So I think it's a good idea that's been brought forward by the neighbors, and happy to act on it. Any other discussion from the commissioners?
Question, John, if the stop sign goes in, could we put the message sign some distance back from it to warn people, stop
Yeah.
sign ahead?
Yeah, I'll work
Yeah.
with Tiger with that, probably the big sign out there on that island, just say, new stop ahead.
Right.
New stop sign. So people are very.
Yeah, not surprised. Yeah, and leave it out. How long do you leave that out? Is that for 3 months or 6 months or something?
I don't know, maybe, Tiger, what do you think, a month or so, maybe? I think once you capture a month's worth of traffic, you're pretty much gonna get
Well,
everybody.
Okay, but it's also the summer. I would think you'd want to leave it out then until at least school started.
Probably the end of September.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't we do that? Just that's the way it captures all the that traffic as well. Because if you're away for the month of August and you don't see it, all of a sudden you come back and whoa,
Yeah.
So
Yep.
okay, let's take a vote. Motion to approve that stop sign at Elm Place and Woodland Road. Motion. Shakeva? Yeah, okay, you got it.
You got it. Yeah, I motion to approve the stop sign at Woodland and Elm Place. 100%.
Okay.
Been there.
Yeah, you're second.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's approved. Okay, that's unanimous. Okay, now let's go on to D. I just got this package, so I might want to look at it a little bit more. This is a Main Street repaving and line marking, and it's more the line marking, right? The parking spaces, correct? Is this yours, Tiger, then?
Yeah, we had brought this to the commission back in October of 19 and then November of 19.
Yep.
And then it was tabled at that time. The gas lines are done, water lines are done. Next week, Aquarium's going to come in and repave. Actually, Burns will be working for Aquarium, but they're going to come in and repave. At that point in time, it's a complete black slate, a clean slate at that point in time. And we'll
From
need
where
some
to where,
direction
Ty?
on how to- I'm sorry.
From where to where?
Oh, sorry.
Where to where
So,
are they repaving?
There'll be, the state is repaving on Cherry Street from South Avenue to Main, and Main Street from Cherry to Locust. So basically, that entire downtown 3 blocks of Main Street will be all repaved curb to curb. And then the town, we just repaved Lower South Avenue, since that's ours, after the gas line installation from Elm Street to Cherry. So that parking area, those parking areas are have been repaved, and we're waiting to restripe that as well. So we had reports done by Hardesty in Hanover. At the time was Frederick Clark, Michael Galante. He couldn't make it tonight. He had a conflict with another meeting in Norwalk, unfortunately. But they came back with a couple of schematics as to how to restripe Main Street and how to restripe South Avenue, taking into consideration the state law of not striping a parking space within 25 feet of an existing crosswalk or 10 feet within an existing driveway.
Okay, so should we be looking at which map first?
I can
Street,
call
Cherry
it up.
Street. Yeah. The one with Morris Court in the middle?
You could, that would be, well, you could look at either. Yeah, the one with, we can look at Morse Court first if you'd like. The Morse Court, you'd be looking at figure 2 or figure 3. Figure 2A, sorry, gives you the proposed layout. And if you're looking at it, the numbers in blue were what's existing, and the numbers in red are what's proposed. So in that 2-block stretch from Elm Street to Cherry on South Avenue, we would lose 4 spaces, revising the parking, revising the striping. So you would maintain the loading zone. You would lose, if you're heading from Elm Street from from Elm Street on South Avenue towards Morse Court, if you're on the west, the eastern side, you lose one space. The western side with the loading zone, you don't lose any. Then we come across the intersection at Morse Court. We would lose one space on the western side, and then we would lose one space directly in front of the mobile station, since you can't park within that area between the two drives. And then we would lose one space as we headed towards the intersection. So 4 spaces overall would be lost, basically one per block, so to speak. And then he had a revised layout for the handicap area, but we have already taken care of that in a previous iteration.
So Tiger, as you're proceeding south from Elm toward Cherry, on the right, what would be on the right side, you don't lose anything where the loading zone is. Where are the ones you lose below or south of Morse Court on that side? I'm not sure.
Where that car picture. Right at the south of Cherry. See the
It's 2A. Now I finally just figured this out.
Right,
It's-
sorry.
It's chart 2A, which is down in that lower.
Yeah,
right-hand corner.
but where do you lose the spot? I'm hard to
You,
discern.
well, you have to look at what was counted versus what's now proposed. So you look at the two numbers. The blue numbers are what was actual, and then the red numbers are what's proposed. So you look at the
Yeah.
difference between the two. So it's just a question of, you had on that stretch from Elm Street to Morse Court on South Avenue, you had to shorten it by 25 feet to get away from the crosswalk at South and Elm. Therefore, you've lost one parking space because the parking space is 22 feet long.
Okay,
So you back that up. So you lost that space. The loading zone, you don't necessarily lose anything there. We had 2 spaces originally, keep the 2 spaces. And then as you move forward southward, right-hand side of the road, you lose 1 again, because you got to stay 10 feet away from the driveway and 25 feet away from the crosswalk at South and Cherry. And the exact same thing happens in front of Arts. If you stay 10 feet away from each driveway, you lose the space in the middle at Arts at the mobile station. And then you lose 1 space staying 25 feet away from the crosswalk at South and Cherry. So you lost 1 space again. So those are the 4.
and those are the 4. Then do you lose one on south as you're driving north on your right, where there's a little 2? Are you losing one there as well?
Yeah.
So doesn't that make 5? 1 there, 1 near the mobile, 1 near the mobile closer to Cherry, that's 3. 1 at the corner of South and Cherry, and is there another one we lose on South near where Mackenzie's was?
You lose 1 in that entire stretch. You lose 1 in that entire stretch of Mackenzie's. You lose 2 in front of the mobile station, and then you lose 1 across the street from the loading zone. Does that help you?
4 total, okay.
3 on the- 1 on the Mackenzie side.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
All right, and then the proposal as well would be to make the traffic on Morse Court all point in one direction towards South Avenue.
No, the
Are we gonna not do that?
change it. What they were proposing, we have a lot of people parking on Morse Court, left tire to the curb instead of right tire to the curb. Instead of the passenger side being to the curb, a lot of people pull off at South Avenue and then pull up on Morse Court against the sidewalk and park left tire driver's side to the curb, which is counter. So they were proposing a double yellow line down Morse Court in order to then designate the fact that you had to, it's 2 lanes of travel through Morse Court. And therefore you would be required to put your right tire to the curb instead of your left tire to the curb.
Why does that matter? I know you're not supposed to park the wrong way, but I mean,
That's why, because you're allowing people to come the wrong side of the road against oncoming, into oncoming traffic.
yeah, okay.
No, I mean, I understand it's a safer way to do it, I guess, but I kind of like the way it is now, you know?
That part of the proposal, you know, can be tabled if you'd like. It's more the on-street parking, you know, the driver education not to park left tire to the curb
I know.
is quite difficult. You know, the parking authority does ticket, they do warn. We don't have any signs facing in that direction, so they have to know that they're, you know, they pull up and they're looking at the back of the parking sign, not the front of the parking sign. So they have to know that they're parking in the wrong direction.
And they get ticketed. So, and this proposed solution is just the striping, the double line to, I'm not sure that would. Not sure that would.
It's a way to help signify that it's 2 lanes of traffic.
Yeah.
Morse code is not a one-way, and
I
to
see.
allow, you know, to kind of signal to the driver, you should be parking the other way.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I also think it helps when people are pulling in from Main Street. Oftentimes you'll see a car has taken up the whole spot.
Mhm.
And then the other person coming in can't even get in there.
Yeah. It's wide enough for 2
Mhm.
lanes, I guess, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any problem striping it.
I kind of like to just think about that one. It's a lot of rules here. But, you know what I mean? The
You
thing
don't
that
like
you
the
really
double
need,
stripe ball?
yeah, I'm against double stripes tonight. I like the quaintness that it has right now. You know, everyone knows what to do, and you start throwing in double lines, and it's just another rule to follow, I guess. Can I think about that one? You need a
Absolutely.
rule. You need a ruling on the South Avenue stuff, right, Tucker?
Well,
Tiger.
yeah, because I need direction on how to restripe it, right? So the
What kind Yeah,
Morse
we're kind
code
of.
Morse code would just be an addition because we're not repaving that yet. So that would just be an addition that can happen at any time. But South Avenue right now is devoid of markings.
Okay, all right, so let's, if we could then, commissioners, just to take up that, we're kind of jammed in that our hand is forced to rule in the way that it's proposed on this schematic, right?
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to lose that space in front of the mobile station either, right? And anyway, we're kind of, it's not up to us. I hope people in town understand, and if anybody from the press is on, that it's not our intent to take away spaces like this. It's we're being forced by state of Connecticut statutes, I guess. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
So
Tiger, just a question. Has the state been involved in this, or is this, we're seeking to comply with the state law?
No, I received a complaint from the state back in August of 2019. They had received a complaint.
Okay.
And they said that they wanted to see us restripe accordingly. They don't have any control over this portion of South Avenue, but they do control Main Street because it's 124. This portion of South Avenue, we're just trying to comply with the law similar to what we did on Elm Street. And we waited on Elm Street until it was repaved, and then we striped it. Now we'd like to do the same thing on South Avenue. We repaved it, like to restripe it in accordance with the law. But in August of 19, I did get a complaint from the state regarding Main Street, and they wanted us to come out and take care of it immediately, or put traffic barricades up in every spot that was close to the crosswalk.
right. All right, if we don't pass this, we're gonna hear a complaint eventually anyway, right? I assume.
Yes.
So why don't we just go ahead and just approve this then to stripe South Avenue as you're proposed here by Mr. Galante's firm, right? Yeah, Mike Galante.
And what does, as proposed on I guess it's exhibit 2A, what does 1A show? Is that a different, we're taking that up next, or is that?
1A was the existing, what was happening the existing conditions.
I see. Okay.
All right,
we're-
so what I would favor is just doing South Avenue only for the moment, and let's think about Morse Court. Because Morse Court, we can always come back into, right? It's simple. If we want to go that route,
That's
right? Okay, but you need an answer on South Avenue now, so. Commissioners, I guess we should vote to accept Michael Galante's schematics for South Avenue at this time only, all right?
Okay.
So we need a motion for that?
Yeah, so the motion would be to approve the restriping of South Avenue as shown on Exhibit 2A to the letter dated October 7th, 2019 from the Frederick P. Clark Associates firm in order to comply with state law.
Right, state statutes, right. And for further explain, it's from Elm to Cherry
Correct, right.
only. Okay. Second,
I second.
okay. All those in favor, aye.
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 Thank
No
you.
opposed. All right, thank you. Anything else?
About this other,
Yeah,
Main Street.
Yeah, let's go back to that. I'm sorry, I'm on my computer, so I gotta go back to that.
That's okay.
That slide.
this is the October 4th letter, Tiger?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the October 4th one. Yeah.
All right. This one's even harder to see.
This one's confusing.
I need the Hubble telescope to see this.
Yeah, if I can walk you through it,
Okay.
So there's
Start on one.
several schematics. The first, number one, is just the current system, the current characteristics of how it's laid out.
Yep.
The second is basically what they're showing for proposed parking without stalls. And then the third is the exact same layout, only showing with stalls, for every parking space, which actually helps delineate the spaces and actually would probably allow us to park more cars, right? So if because if somebody comes in and parks over a stall, someone can't fit on one end or the other, right? So to do intermediate hash marks along the way to help delineate the stalls, I think it's a good idea.
Tiger,
especially
I'm sorry,
considering-
what are the stalls? What are stalls?
Well, it's 22 feet long,
Parking space.
parking
Yeah.
space, and then 20 feet on the ends, 22 feet for a stall length. So it's basically giving you, if you look at schematic 3, you can see the red and white markings. Those would be the pavement markings. And you can see intermittently along the curb line, every 22 feet, we've got a white line with a little T on the end of it, designating the beginning or ending of one parking space, one parallel parking space.
Got
So-
it. And you, when you say stall, it's another term for parking space.
Yes, sorry.
Gotcha. Okay.
So in this, with this schematic, and with this layout, we lose 4 spaces on Main Street.
Oof.
We do, if we walk through from Locust Avenue to Cherry, so from left to right on the page, we don't lose any spaces in front of the town hall or across the street. And then it starts to get a little bit problematic from East Avenue forward. We lose 1 space in front of Greenology, but I think we've taken care of that, changing it from a loading zone to a 15-minute zone so that they can load and unload at will throughout the day. So because that loading zone extended from the crosswalk to the area that was blocked off from the hydrant, that was in essence 3 spaces. We're going to come down to 2 in that location. If we go across the street and we're in front of the People's Bank, inside the intersection between all the crosswalks, inside the intersection of 106 and 124, there are 2 spaces there. There will be no spaces in that area. So in front of the People's Bank, in front of what used to be the pharmacy, and it's now against the grain. There's no spaces there because we have to stay 25 feet from each crosswalk. And then as we continue to walk southward, in front of Pinocchio's and in front of Gopher Ice Cream, used to have 7 spaces. There'll be 5. We'll lose 2 in that location. We'll lose 1 across the street at Connecticut Muffin. We'll lose 1 in front of the bank where the police park now, where we have a designated spot for the police. We would just make that a 2 space for the police officers. Make it a little bit longer and wider because that, again, 25 feet from the crosswalk on either side negates any opportunity for a space in that area. And then as we get down towards Burtis Avenue and then in the stretch across from the Morse Court parking lot, we lose 1 space on the Morse Court side and actually gain 1 back on the other side.
We get
Right,
1
so-
back on the other side?
Yeah, based upon when if we start to restripe it, excuse me, I'm sorry, we lose 1 more there. The we lose 1 on the, I'm sorry, we lose 1 on the across the street in front of the AT&T building, and we gain 1 in front of Morse Court. So actually that's a wash in that area. By striping it and giving the stalls what historically we had, we'll actually gain a space back.
How do we gain? How does that happen?
By striping the stalls, we're looking at where we shorten the distance off from Morse Court coming out to the 10 feet coming out of a driveway. And then we took the 25 feet from the crosswalk, and I questioned it myself looking at it, but I'm not going to question his mathematics when he's looked at it and gone out there and counted cars and spaces from our GIS system. So
Yeah, okay. No,
Okay. So, Tiger, what's the difference then, or is there a difference between a loading zone versus a parking stall? Like in front of People's Bank, couldn't that just be a loading zone or a
yeah,
15-minute?
you can't park within that area. It doesn't matter if you're actively loading or not. That's why in front of Greenology, the space, it was 75 feet long. It's now going to be 50 feet long.
Okay. All right, so this is an older map and it looks like it's still marked as a loading zone, but we'll just leave it as it is now, right? With a 15-minute.
Correct. What we'll do is we'll stripe the stall at the beginning part of it, show where they should park or start their parking. And we might have to crosshatch from the crosswalk to the first stall just to show that you're prevented from parking there.
Okay.
So all in all, it's 4 spots?
All in all, 4 spots.
Well, again, I'm not happy with that, but again, this is state driven, not town driven.
I'm sorry, it's all in all 6 spots. I apologize.
Oh, it is 6? Okay.
Yeah, sorry, 6 and 4.
Oh, 6 on one side, 4 on the other. That's 10.
Well, 6 for Main Street, 4 for more for
Yeah,
South Ave.
yeah. South Ave, right.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, we're kind of jammed again here. Any other towns going through this review, or is it just sort of a targeted New Canaan deal?
I don't know. I know the town that I'm in right now in Long Beach Island, 2 years ago, they went through this exact process. And every crosswalk, there's restriping from the crosswalk 25 feet back. I did notice that 2 years ago when we actually had this proposal going forward, and I looked at it again now. So other communities are going through it. I don't know, I don't know any other towns in Connecticut. I haven't heard of any, but
Maybe our
It might
concerned
already be
citizen
compliant,
has a summer
you know.
house in Long Beach Island.
Okay, so let's end the pain then. We got to adopt this, I guess, right? Motion to adopt the Michael Gallanti plan that's proposed on October 4th, 2019, with the correction or the update for in front of the coffee shop at 106 and Main. If we can get that into a motion, that would be good. All right.
The,
Figure 3.
yeah, so we're
Yeah, it's page 3.
figure 3, but we're changing, are we changing something on figure 3 with respect to greenology?
It's just not a loading zone.
It's
Oh, I
just not a load. It's a coating on it is yellow for a loading zone.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so why don't I propose a motion that we approve the restriping on Main Street between Cherry and Locust
Yep.
as proposed in figure 3 of the report dated October 4th, 2019 from the Frederick P. Clark Associates firm.
Okay. Tiger, you good with that?
Yes, I am, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Second,
I second.
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye. Reluctantly, aye.
Yeah.
I think we're all reluctant on this one. Gosh,
Yeah,
sorry.
Oh.
Since lawsuits are expensive, so let's not go there.
yeah.
Okay. Tiger, anything else?
No, thank you very much.
Hey, Tiger, thanks again for Park Street.
Mhm.
Okay.
Looks good.
Looks good, feels good. It's awesome. My teeth don't rattle now going down that road. Before my back fillings were shaking.
Mhm.
Hey, Tiger, one other thing, we, some time ago, we approved the bump outs on Elm.
Yeah.
We had an open question, I believe, on the bump outs that are not yet installed at the corner of Elm and South. And for example, the fire department was going to see if they could make that turn, and I'd like to suggest that before they go in, we re-examine that, because I think we might slightly modify it in a way that would be beneficial.
Right, agreed.
That's fine. We right now we're focusing on the just the northern side. So we've
Right.
kind of come in a couple of phases. We did the first phase, which was
Yeah. Hey,
basically
Tiger,
field
what's
inspection.
the next step there?
The next step is I got to go through the front of the
Hang
the
on.
front of the playhouse. I just took the oil tank out. Got to go back in there and do a little bit more work there. Got to replace the sewer line and the water line and some storm drains. And then at that point in time, we'll be complete on that side of the street to Soleil. Then we would start to focus on the southern side of the street. So the Dunkin' Donuts side or the Elm and South Avenue side. But before we did that, I'd have the fire department traverse the, put it out with cones and make sure that they can do it similar to what we did on Forest Street. Back when we did the bump out on Forest Street, we did the exact same thing. I put out cones where the curb line was going to be, and had the fire trucks drive it, and my plow trucks drive it, and it was actually more difficult for the plows than it was for the fire truck at that time.
Could
We
we
can
put on
certainly-
can we put on our agenda for September just to speak again about the bump outs at South and Elm?
Yep. We run into that's we're still having the same problem in that area. What we just trying to tackle here, which is people parking in those areas, so but yes, we can certainly discuss it again.
Okay,
And I know we discussed considering doing another bump out further towards Main Street on the side to capture some of those restaurants over there.
oh, yeah. Well, there's been requests from the Rosie's Restaurant to see if they could get the bump out to extend further as well.
And the
That's
store next to
And
it.
the one next to it, the Cafe Salzburg, they've asked. So maybe we should take that up in September.
Yeah, I think it's been fairly successful.
That's fine. We can, what we'll do is we'll put together a sketch for that area and then give you an idea as to number of spaces that'll be affected as well. And then come back to you in September and we can discuss it then.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, onward. College course approval for Officer Bartuli.
Sure. Officer Vituli is requesting approval of 3 courses related to continuing her education for a master's degree in forensic accounting. I recommend approval subject to the limitations within the labor agreement for reimbursement and successful completion.
Any kind of motion on that?
We would move to approve those courses as the chief just described them.
Very good. Second,
I second.
all those in favor? Aye.
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 Right, that's all approved. F, building renovation and training center update. Chief, you want?
Sure. You folks did a nice memo that you distributed to the various boards, re-emphasizing the need for a training center education facility. And this evening, in fact, the town council will be considering the request for a renovation, the plan, the town hall plan, if you will, knock down the old addition, build a new addition, and renovate the entirety of the building. And that will be presented this evening and hopefully approved. I know if I'm reading it correctly, I believe Board of Finance will take this up in August and for additional funding related to engaging the architect and getting plans in place. And final kind of numbers about costs.
I understand as well. They have the building committee has money sitting there, so we can advance it. I think they just wanted clarity on it to be sure they weren't overstepping their bounds or spending money that they weren't actually approved to do. So that seems to be moving forward. And after this, I'm going to hop on that town council meeting as well. I think we should all tune into that if we can. Letters of appreciation.
Sure. First letter is for Officer Blank, who will be in start of the school year, new SRO at the Sachs Junior High School. And this is related to him making connection during a tour and being invited to a birthday party. And great note here, recognizing his connection with that family and how well he connected with the family at the birthday party. So kudos to Officer Blank. Next letter of appreciation I have is for Officer Bartuli. She initiated and drove forward a program to get 100 stuffed animals donated to our department that will be in the cruisers so that they can be distributed as officers see fit to young children, kind of build that connection and provide comforting thing during crisis might be. And good work for Officer Bartuli driving that initiative forward and getting those donations in place in our department.
Yeah, that was terrific. Okay. Any other matters?
Nope,
Executive session, do you have anything, Chief?
I do not.
I do not either. I think we can just go on to adjournment.
Yes.
But just no, please, if you can, tune into the town council meetings that starts at 7, and that note has been sent around for a Zoom call there too. So good. All right, motion to adjourn at 6:49.
I second.
Second, James. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. All right,